in the center of the heartland, and it seemed to me that this was a place that we needed to be at this time. I don't know, there seemed like to be a great need in this country, and that's why we came. Yep. First of all, thank everybody for being here today, the entertainers, the press, the politicians, the farmers, everybody that's interested in seeing a change. There is a change coming.
We're hoping that the next year, 2 years, 3 years, we're going to see a lot of change. President Clinton came in, was elected on the notion of change. Farmers need change. We need change away from farm-destroying policies. We need to get a Farmers Home Administration who is more interested in saving the family farm rather than putting the family farmer on the streets. Farmers are in trouble, and that we're not asking for a handout. We're just asking for a little consideration to be given to the people in this country that feed, clothe, and shelter the rest of the people in the United States and in the world. We're hurting. There's a lot of things that we need to get back to. We need to get back to the basics.
I truly love the land, and perhaps it's because I was a farmer's daughter and a farmer's wife. But there isn't anything more rewarding than to look out over a piece of land that you have tilled and worked and plant the seed and to watch the seed come up through the good earth. It's just a wonderful feeling, and I just think the farmers are a very special type of people that do this. I wonder how many people realize that most everything starts from the earth, with the earth.
The figures that I last heard was in the state of Iowa, we've lost 50% of the topsoil in the last 100 years. And it's important that we take care of our soil.
Because every person's physical livelihood depends on a layer of topsoil and the fact that it rains.
Farm Aid's been going for 7 years, 8 years, 6 farm aids. Countless families have come to us with their stories. We're tired of helping. Help is not what we're about. We don't want to hear about help. We want change, you know? So all I can say is, where is the change?
That's why the long-term work of Farm Aid is so essential. Their effort not just to do the hotlines, not just to do the crisis centers, as important as that is, but their long-term effort in policy development and grassroots organizing, building that coalition that Chuck was talking about between working people, between farmers, between environmentalists, between consumers, that develops a new farm policy that is for farmers, for consumers, for environmentalists, and for workers. You can't make butter without a churn. Ross Perot wish he'd said that, but he didn't. Farm Aid is the churn that's going to get us a new farm policy that works for people instead of conglomerates. Thank you very much.
Are you having a good time here?
Well, yes. I guess I'm enjoying the concert, but I guess I am enjoying an opportunity to tell people that there's still a problem out there, and it's a serious problem with the stability of a food source. But I go to the field with my husband much the same way as people go to the office together in urban areas. We each have our own tractor. I do a lot of the summer follow work, that sort of thing, and he does the seeding, and I basically prepare the seed bed. We were seeding wheat when the storm came that shut us down so I could come here.
But I, as a farmer, gauge it by the press that is there, because there is the biggest output that we get out of Farm Aid to educate the public and bring it to their attention. Because the people, if they're not directly involved in agriculture, they don't know what's going on. So I really appreciate the interview and the opportunity to do an interview with you today, because that's how we get to the public and how important it is that there is a profit allowed back in production and agriculture.
So I'm anxious to help get that going and support it however that happens. And some people got to, you know, wake up a little bit, and I got to get educated like everybody else, and we'll figure out a way to deal with it.
Well, Central Iowa is the same as pretty much anywhere else in the country. Family farmers have an awful hard time surviving. The policies that have been set nationally have been constantly making it tougher for farmers to survive, keeping prices down. We have a cheap food policy in this country, or a cheap natural resources policy in this country. It's not cheap for the consumer, but it's cheap for the prices farmers get. And a lot of that's a direct result of federal policies.
Talking about the processors and the shippers and the retailers, they hold down the prices that our farmers get and raise the prices that consumers have to pay. So we have the phenomenon of a consumer going in and spending this dollar bill and only this little quarter getting back to the family farmer. Now, that's not exactly what we had in mind. It's a cabal of ignorance and arrogance between Wall Street and Washington, D.C. That creates this old friend of ours, the box of Wheaties. The price of wheat since 1981 gone down 29%. The price of Wheaties, this box cost $1.04 in 1981. This box costs $2.19 today. That's a 111% increase to the consumer, a 29% decrease to the farmer. There's only 3 cents worth of wheat in this box of Wheaties. 3 cents out of $2.19 going to our family farmers. That puts all the profits in the middle. Some of these guys are getting so rich they could afford to air-condition hell, and I tell you, from the way they're treating farmers, they better be setting some money aside for that.
It's been estimated that in the next 50 years the family farm will disappear. Do you think that's correct?
Well, it happened in Russia.
It did. That's right.
And now they're trying to give the land back to the farmers, and the farmers don't want it back because they're used to whatever subsidies or whatever they've been given to live on, and they don't have to work that hard anymore. And I'm afraid that once we lose our small family farmers and they get mixed up in the world out there, then their children and their grandchildren are not going to want to carry on, and could very conceivably be that within the next 50 years there would be no more small family farms. And that's the worst thing that could happen.
I agree.
There's a feeling that runs with a lot of people who are playing here and working here that sort of runs through a lot of different groups and organizations of people of all persuasions one way or another, and I think the one thing that binds them together, this is a thing that has a lot of spirit, and this is the spirit that keeps this country on the cutting edge of what needs to be done. There's small farmers dealing with this crisis around the world. If we can solve it here, we can point the way to a lot of people, millions and millions of them. And so I'm anxious to help get that going and support it however that happens. And
help plant the seeds of change, just regular people.
I think what we have to realize is that when you have congressmen and senators who wake up every day going to work saying, now, what are we going to disagree on today, then we have a problem. Until we get those guys dedicated to agree on something, then nothing is going to change. So we're either going to have to let them know that there are people out here who will vote them out if they don't start doing what is right for the country instead of what's right for their own careers. And that's the only thing I know to do.
To write your congressman and have them write down a bill that says the farmer's going to get more money for all that food's being sold.
This is serious, serious business. This is not a party. People are going out of business. The rural centers are evaporating as we watch. All of the businesses that support the farm system are going down with the farm system. And it all starts from greed, because we're trying to feed the world. We're trying to undercut farmers all around the world with our prices and do the same damn thing to them that we're doing to our own farmers. Why are we doing this?
bet there's rich folks here in a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. But those people keep moving, and that's what tortures me. Tracy Young, one more time, Reggie.
Will there be a Farm Aid 7?
I don't know. I would like to think that this problem would be over, and I'm not sure Farm Aid 7 would help, since Farm Aid 1 through 6 seems to have been only calling attention to it. I'm not saying we're quitting. I'm just saying that it's time that something drastic was done in Washington.
Farm Aid is not an American tradition. It's a Band-Aid. We got to get rid of it. So all I can say is, where is the change?
There is a change coming. Once you find out about the problem, you have to do something. You either have to decide to do something or do nothing. You have to make a decision to do something or do nothing.